Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 2017 hooding ceremony for doctoral candidates at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Woo! Yeah, we can clap for that. Leading us in the national anthem is Shefali Jalota, graduating with a bachelor's in music degree and a minor in Italian this year. Shefali is also a Robertson Scholar at UNC. Please stand. Wow. Please be seated. We are here to honor recipients of the Doctor of Philosophy, the highest degree awarded in the Academy. This annual hooding ceremony is really one of my favorite events. As Yogi Berra famously said, I just want to thank everyone who made this necessary. As I'm looking out at a sea of people whom we're celebrating today, I've been marveling at the variety of the theses that you've undertaken, and I've been thinking about all the time and the effort that has gone into each of these titles. And I've also been thinking a bit about the amount of coffee that you consumed, staying up all hours working on it and thinking a bit about the words that you wrote and then deleted, and about the information and the ideas you had but that didn't even make it in to your final thesis. And it reminds me of a story I once heard about Albert Einstein. When he took a position at Princeton after already winning the Nobel Prize, he was told he could have whatever he wanted to furnish his office. He said he wanted a table, a chair, a typewriter, and most importantly, he said he wanted a very large waste paper basket. I just love that image, Albert rolling up his equations into a ball and shooting them off into the waste basket. You have to wonder what went into that waste basket. But we all do that when we're doing research. We make choices about what to pursue and what we want to hold back. I think we also all understand that sometimes what you delete is just as important as what you save. It may just be waiting for another time to be useful, or it may be important because what it taught you about yourself. A lot of research is about timing and choices. So for wisdom on choices, I decided to turn to Yogi again, who famously said, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Now, for me, the first meaning of that is that when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Take it. Go for it. Do what you choose to do with passion and resolution, and don't hesitate. I know for me, everything changed in my life when I started following my heart and doing what I cared about with passion. And choosing a life as an environmental scientist and a professor and now a chancellor may not have seemed the likely choice for someone whose brother ate her first science fair project the night before it was due. But it really was for me my senior thesis that turned my life around. And I found that I loved the process of discovery, in particular for me, scientific discovery, the environment. I loved experiments, and I really loved the way scientists work at the edge of knowledge, of uncertainty all the time. And when I took that path, like you, I didn't look back. But going back to yogi, how can you possibly take a fork? Well, I've also come to see that sometimes taking a fork is exactly what you do. Einstein may have thrown away papers, but that doesn't mean that he ignored the path that he was describing. He may have just decided to come at it later at a different time. On his deathbed, Einstein did 3 things. He signed 2 documents in support of world peace. And then he wrote down several important equations that he wanted to make sure were available for people even after his death. Clearly, he wasn't going to let something like a very big fork stand in his way of keeping going forward. And I imagine that for many of you, your own breakthroughs have come from such decisions, and that brings me to the most important part of my welcome. I think what you learn the most by completing what we think of as a piece of independent scholarship is that you really haven't taken that path alone. We've all seen the Google Scholar homepage, words of Isaac Newton, stand on the shoulders of giants. I know that my own early giants have led me to a string of other giants, mentors, students, colleagues who continue to enrich my life. Earning a doctoral degree is a milestone achievement in your lives. And in the 2016 and 17 academic year, right here, about 600 dissertations were approved. Every one of those accomplishments has resulted from the help and support of families and friends, and the drive, the push, the belief in your of you by your academic mentors, many of whom will be joining you on stage today. So graduates, these are your giants, and we thank them for making this day necessary. So let's give a round of applause. Family. You know, about 32% of Americans hold bachelor's degrees. About 10% hold master's, 1.5% hold professional degrees, and about 1.7% hold an academic doctorate. While the future is bright for those people with those degrees, I think it's very important to remember that you hold those degrees in large part because of the financial support of people in this state and across the nation, the majority of whom do not hold such degrees and may never have had the chance to do so. So today, when we celebrate your great accomplishments, I know and I ask you always to remember that with that great privilege, of course, comes an even greater responsibility. And yours is to take seriously the investment that has been made in you, that investment as a public good, and to take very seriously the charge to make a difference in the lives of others through your scholarship with integrity and in service. We all know that the future is going to be defined by your work and the strength of your resolution, and taking value from all that you've done to attack some of the most challenging problems. As you do know how to do it. You've learned a lot about challenging legacy thinking, about innovating in the public good right here at Carolina. African American author, educator, and social justice leader Howard Thurman said, "Keep fresh before me the moments of my highest resolve." Now, before we continue, I want to take a moment to speak for all of our university when I say thank you for your extraordinary contributions. This is to the graduates. This is work that you have done in your time here. Carolina simply would not be the top-tier public research university it is without all of you. Now, while it's been your physical home for a few years, you are forever a part of this family, and you're going to join the ranks of many other highly distinguished alumni who are innovators in their fields and leaders in their disciplines. And we're very honored today to welcome one such amazing Carolina graduate, Dr. Richard Lenski, as our speaker today. He'll be introduced in a moment, but he's an evolutionary biologist, member of the National Academy of Sciences, and a true Tar Heel. I first met Richard pretty soon after he was graduating, when he was doing a postdoc, and he came and taught on the faculty at Dartmouth to teach evolutionary biology. I was pretty new there myself, but I knew he was something very special. Gifted communicator, he was an incredible thinker, and so I've followed his career and ideas with great admiration over the years. And so it's a very special moment for me to have a chance to greet him again in this capacity. You know, today we also are thanking and welcoming your family and friends, thanking them for their encouragement and support, and also thanking all the students that you've helped on their path. So it's time to proceed with the day. And so joining all of us on the stage today are a number of esteemed people. So I'd like to begin by introducing the Vice Chair of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, Haywood Cochran. Trustee Cochran is a corporate executive. He graduated from Carolina in 1970, and he will be bringing greetings from the Board of Trustees. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor, and good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, I'm pleased and honored to congratulate each and every one of you. As trustees, we're here to support Chancellor Folt and her administration to make sure that all of our students have the very best opportunities that a great global public research university can offer. As a result, you've created knowledge that helps people better understand and improve our world. Your discoveries are vital, not only in your academic fields, but to the people and the economy of North Carolina. You've made other strong contributions during your years in Chapel Hill, and those contributions will endure. Teaching and mentoring undergraduates, supporting the research of world-class faculty and students, and engaging with communities across the state and around the world are just a few examples of what you do. We thank you for being outstanding ambassadors of Carolina's excellence. Now you take that excellence into the world and into your careers. Please remember, you may be leaving Carolina, but Carolina is not leaving you. You've established relationships that will last a lifetime, so we ask that you please stay involved with your university. I also want to thank faculty and staff, family and friends, and others who have nurtured the success of the graduates here today. We truly appreciate all that you've done. Graduates, we are so proud of the knowledge that you have pursued and created at Carolina. We appreciate the compassion and the support you have extended here and to the citizens of our state. You've accomplished so much, and this is just the beginning. Your Board of Trustees wish you every success in the future. Please enjoy this day, your day. You deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Cochran. I'd like to take a moment to introduce the other members of the platform party and ask you to hold your applause till I've introduced everybody. Distinguished members of the faculty present today include Vince Tepanitis, the professor and secretary of the faculty, Bruce Cairns, distinguished professor of surgery and chair of the faculty, Marcia Collins, professor of English and the Royster Distinguished Professor for Graduate Education, and interim registrar Allison Legge. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to introduce Steve Mattson, Dean of the Graduate School.
For close to 150 years now, the University of North Carolina has been engaged in graduate education, preparing our future scientists, teachers, healthcare professionals, business leaders, and public servants. Doctoral graduates, as Chancellor Folt has said, your work here has advanced the university's mission in research, in teaching, and in public service. Now, we are counting on you to continue that work, to share with others what you have learned here, to take on challenges that we face as a society, and to succeed. Our world needs your leadership. As you go out into the world, you will carry the Carolina Standard of Excellence with you. I would like to recognize the many disciplines that are represented in this ceremony. The Graduate School oversees more than 80 programs with significant breadth and depth in the doctoral and master's degrees we offer. Today, graduates and faculty from these diverse disciplines come together to share the joy and pride of the doctoral degree being conferred on this group of scholars. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Madeline Percy, incoming president of the Graduate and Professional Student Federation at Carolina.
Good morning. It is my honor to introduce our distinguished keynote speaker, Dr. Richard Lenski. Dr. Lenski, a biologist, is the John Hanna Distinguished Professor of Microbial Ecology at Michigan State University. He also received his doctorate in zoology from UNC-Chapel Hill. Dr. Lenski has been awarded a MacArthur Foundation Fellowship and was elected to the National Academy of Sciences for his pioneering work. In 1988, he started an experiment in which he tracked evolution within E. coli bacteria. He focused on bacteria because they reproduce and evolve quickly. The experiment continues to this day and has tracked evolution for more than 66,000 generations. Dr. Lenski and his students have directly observed the process of adaptation by natural selection and examined the repeatability of evolution in a controlled setting. The results of the experiment have been published in Nature, Science, and other leading journals. Dr. Lenski's late father served as a professor of sociology at UNC from 1963 until his retirement in 1992. Dr. Gerhard Lenski was chair of the department during the late 1960s and early 1970s and a nationally renowned sociologist. With much joy, we welcome Dr. Richard Lenski back to Carolina and look forward to his keynote address this morning. Dr. Lenski.
Thank you, Chancellor Folt and Dean Mattson and Madeline for that warm introduction, and it's just so exciting to be back here. So let me begin by congratulating all of you who are receiving your PhDs today. Each of you climbed a mountain that no one before you had ever climbed. That's what made it a doctorate, original research leading to new knowledge. My remarks today are about constancy versus change, and about luck versus skill. These turn out to be core themes in the research that I do, and they also have a lot to do with life, including the decisions we all make in our professional careers. Speaking of constancy, some things hardly change. I got my PhD here in 1982, the Carolina Men's Basketball Championship. Tar Heels won, Dean Smith, the building's named after him. And what happened this year? Same thing. Of course, there have also been a lot of changes since I was a student. Music, for example. When we'd go out to the bar and listen to music, we had these awesome communal listening devices called jukeboxes. You didn't even need headphones to hear the music. One of the awesome groups of the day that we heard was Kool and the Gang. They had a great song called Celebration. And if you're having a party tonight, I recommend you put that song on your playlist. It's a great song. But crossover country music was also very big. And one of the stars in that genre was Kenny Rogers, who had a hit song called The Gambler, about advice from an old poker player. And you've all probably heard it. It goes like this, so I think we'll get a...
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up, know when to walk away, and know when to run.
All right, just a snippet. Oh, thank you. Great. Thanks. She does everything. Perfect. Of course, the song is about life, using poker as a metaphor. Just as in our careers and lives, poker requires making decisions in the face of uncertainty. I had a lot of very good luck when I was at Carolina. One of the parties I went to, I happened to meet Madeline, a different one from the one who introduced me, my wife over there. She was a graduate student in the School of Public Health, so that was an example of the terrific luck I had here. But I also faced some difficulties, and while I managed to get through them, they led me to change the direction of my research. I came to Carolina to study ecology, which focuses on the interactions of species in their roles in nature. And I'd gotten interested in biology when I took a non-majors course at Oberlin College and saw the grand sweep of ideas and new discoveries from molecular biology to vertebrate evolution. As I contemplated graduate school, I focused on ecology because it was filled with interesting and unanswered questions that, at least to my naive self back then, seemed like they wouldn't be too hard to study. Many ecologists are superb naturalists, including Nelson Harston, the late Nelson Harston, who was my PhD advisor here, studied salamanders and knew their biology inside and out. Or Charles Darwin, who was fond of beetles. On a collecting trip in his young adulthood, he already had 2 beetles that he wanted to keep, one in each hand, when he came on a third that he also wanted to keep. He was so in love with beetles that he took one of them from his hand and popped it in his mouth so that he could grab a third beetle. Well, the one he popped in his mouth was something called a bombardier beetle that squirts out 2 chemicals from its back end and combines them in an explosive exothermic reaction. And needless to say, Darwin lost all 3 of those beetles. As a kid, I loved being outdoors, hiking and playing sports, but I wasn't a naturalist. I didn't know very much about any particular group of animals or plants, and at least partly this lack of understanding and familiarity with organisms in the wild made my first efforts at doing ecological research failures. And I'm going to give one example because it's kind of funny, at least with hindsight. I tried to do an experiment using praying mantises. I reared batches of them in the lab from egg cases and then released them on small plots out at Mason Farm, here on part of the Carolina campus. And I had 2 different treatments. I had painstakingly cleared the vegetation around each plot by hand so that the mantises would stay put in their respective treatments. Well, maybe a week later, the next time I went out to see how my experiment was going, there were no more mantises. I couldn't find a single one. I think maybe when I'd been out there, some birds were watching me saying, "What's this crazy guy doing?" and then went down and gobbled them all up. I really have no idea what happened, but that experiment was a total bust. But with hindsight, I was lucky that project failed right away. The treatment effect I was looking for would probably not have given a significant outcome given the scale of the experiment, even if the mantises had stayed put. So failures can sometimes be valuable by keeping us from wasting time and by forcing us to change direction. Maybe some of you who are getting your degrees today had failed projects as well before you found your bearings. It's a normal part of science and scholarship, though it's upsetting when it happens. I then had another project that failed, but at least the second failure led me to the study system that became my dissertation, which was about the effects of forest clear cutting in the mountains of western North Carolina and competition among a certain group of insects called ground beetles. I loved being outdoors in the mountains of western North Carolina, although the frequent rainstorms often flooded the pitfall traps that I used to catch the beetles, drenching both the beetles and me. But this project at last was a successful one. I got my dissertation and got a few nice papers out of it. But I also had doubts that this line of research was a good fit for my own interests and skills. Maybe some of you are at similar points in your career. I'm sure some of you have found the work that you want to do for the rest of your lives, and if so, more power to you, that's terrific. But others of you might be pondering or planning a change, using your wonderful new degree and your experience but setting off in a new direction. Maybe not right away, but perhaps keeping an eye out for future opportunities that better match your own skills and interests. In my case, an exciting opportunity came from a graduate reading group in ecology, where we read a paper about the coevolution of bacteria and viruses that infect bacteria. Even though I had no experience in microbiology, I wrote the head of that lab with an idea for a project related to the paper, and again, lucky for me, he invited me for an interview and I was offered a postdoctoral position. Before I started that new position, I was worried about working in a new area where once again, I had no experience. Well, I soon discovered that I enjoyed the work. I wasn't good at it right away, but I liked the rhythm of a microbiology laboratory. Unlike praying mantises, the bacteria stayed in the flasks where you put them. There weren't rainstorms drowning the experiments in the microbiology lab. And with microbes, sometimes you could get meaningful results of experiments within a single day. But down the road, there were more hurdles, as there always are. In my first year of looking for a faculty position, I applied for dozens and dozens of jobs. I got one interview and no offers. Meanwhile, the grant that funded the research that I was working on wasn't renewed, and I had a growing family to support. I even thought about leaving science, and if Lady Luck hadn't come through for me yet again, I might have. That grant was renewed on the second try, and in my second year on the job market, I got 2 offers. So I headed out to Irvine, California, where I started a project that Madeline mentioned in her introduction that continues to this day now at Michigan State University. The project is an evolution experiment. And the experiment was set up to address the same themes as my talk today: luck or randomness and skill, constancy and change, but addressing it in a scientific context rather than a personal one. In evolution, genetic mutations are random events, while the process that Darwin discovered, adaptation by natural selection, sometimes called survival of the fittest, it multiplies the best competitors across the generations. And I wanted to see how luck and skill, that is the tension between random mutation and natural selection, would play out if we could watch evolution over and over and over. So I set up 12 populations of E. coli bacteria, all started from the same genetic stock, and I put them in identical flasks, identical temperatures, identical food, and so on. And I wanted to know, would they all change and adapt in the same way, showing the power of natural selection to shape life, or would each population evolve along a different path, highlighting the importance of luck or random mutation in the evolutionary outcome? One thing that makes bacteria great for this experiment is that we can freeze samples and then later revive them as actually living cells. So in essence, our freezers have become time travel machines for the bacteria, allowing us to directly compare and even compete organisms that lived at different times in the past. Now, you've all heard about our close relatives, our human close relatives, the Neanderthals, who went extinct about 40,000 years ago. Some of you might know that their DNA has been recovered from fossils, allowing their genomes to be analyzed. It's even been discovered that almost all of us have stretches of Neanderthal DNA in our own genomes. But despite these amazing advances, we don't really know what the Neanderthals were like and how similar they would be to us if they were raised in our world. How would they play chess, or music, or basketball? What topics would they choose for their dissertations? What would they talk about if they were standing at this podium? Well, we don't know the answers to those questions, but back to the experiment with bacteria. We've seen many parallel changes in the 12 replicate populations, showing that natural selection can sometimes make evolution quite predictable, despite the randomness of mutations. But we've also seen differences emerge, including in one lineage out of the 12, a surprising new ability to grow on a resource that E. coli bacteria cannot normally use. And along the way, new technologies that didn't exist when I started this experiment have come forward, allowing us to sequence the genomes of hundreds of bacteria from this experiment from different generations and different populations, letting us examine and test the repeatability of evolution down to the level of the DNA itself. I sometimes call this the experiment that keeps on giving. I originally intended the experiment to go for at least 2,000 generations, which would take about a year. Well, today it's been running for almost 30 years, and we just passed, a week or two ago, 67,000 generations. The experiment keeps on giving because the bacteria keep evolving in interesting and often unexpected ways, and because students, like those of you in the audience, bring new questions and ideas to the project. My hope is that it will continue long after I'm gone. Well, the experiment gets a lot of nice press and compliments these days, but there have been some obstacles along the way. When the first paper about this experiment was submitted, one reviewer was very negative and even hostile. The reviewer wrote, and I quote, "I feel like a professor giving a poor grade to a good student." Ouch. Without any suggestions for how to improve it. In fact, the reviewer even wrote, quote, "This paper has merit and no errors, but I do not like it." Well, I wasn't going to fold. I liked the cards in this hand. So I wrote a rebuttal, and the paper was published, and in fact, it went on to receive the journal's Best Paper Award for that year. A second obstacle was one of my own making. I came across another experimental system that I found fascinating and still do. Artificial life in the form of computer programs that can replicate, mutate, and evolve to solve complex problems. At the time, I thought maybe this long-term experiment with bacteria had sort of run out of new things and it had run its course. Well, unlike in poker, when you face challenges about what to do in your careers in science and scholarship, you can ask other people for advice. And in this case, it's a great thing that I did, because I was able to have my cake and eat it too. Everybody said, "You've got to keep the experiment going. It's too valuable." And so my lab has kept this experiment going, and it has continued to be a scientific gold mine. Now, along the way, some creationists have criticized our work. Some have openly said they don't believe our results, while others believe us but say, in effect, "See, they're still only bacteria," as though any scientist would expect to see worms or monkeys or whatever emerge from an experiment like this. There can be many reasons for misunderstandings between scientists and the public. Problems of education, politics, and communication. The third problem, communication, is one that we can strive to overcome by explaining our work not only to our close disciplinary colleagues, but also to the general public. And a couple of years ago, I had a wonderful opportunity to communicate science to a broad public audience. I was asked by the producer of the television show Through the Wormhole with Morgan Freeman to do a segment about our research on bacteria for that show. One of the scenes had me playing poker with a few of my students. It was intended to show how the effects of a random event, a particular card in a game of poker, depends on the context in which it occurs. The same thing is true in evolution. A particular mutation that might be beneficial in one species in one environment might be detrimental or even lethal in a different species or a different environment. Let's have a look at that clip if we could, please.
When there is a queen and a king of hearts on the table and you have the 10 and ace of hearts in your hand, you are set up to potentially make a royal flush, the most powerful hand in poker. All you need is for the final card to be a jack of hearts.
So just like in that make-believe game of poker, in my real life, I've been so lucky. I was born to parents who nurtured me. I was born in a nation dedicated to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And like those of you who are receiving your degrees today, I was fortunate to get a superb education here at Carolina. The French microbiologist Louis Pasteur, who in the 1800s disproved spontaneous generation, invented what we call pasteurization, and developed the first rabies vaccine, said, "Chance favors the prepared mind." Thanks to your Carolina education and the hard work that brought you today to where we are today, you have a prepared mind. You will encounter many uncertainties, probably some obstacles, and hopefully some terrific opportunities as the cards of life are dealt to you. Play them well, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, and sometimes you won't really know what to do, so you'll just have to give it your best shot. Thank you, and congratulations again to all of you receiving your doctorate degrees today.
Thank you, Dr. Lenski. All right, this is it. Now I ask the first row of candidates for doctoral degrees to come forward as directed by the faculty marshal. So as we prepare to recognize our graduate students, I want to take just a moment to explore the significance of the commencement hood. The hooding ceremony is derived from medieval university traditions in the 12th and 13th centuries, when universities were just taking shape and they were under the jurisdiction of the church. Those studying wore a habit or cloak to which was attached a cowl or a hood. The hood seems to have had three uses: a covering, a shoulder cape, and a bag for collecting alms. Many of us have heard a story, whether true or not, of the small cup formed by the folds of cloth at the back of the hood being used as a receptacle for coins offered by grateful students after a particularly inspiring lecture by their teacher. The colors symbolize school and broad discipline, as explained in your program. The presentation of the hood by the student's mentor symbolizes the welcoming of a graduate as a full-fledged member in the community of scholars. As I call the name of each doctoral candidate and his or her advisor, I ask that the student and advisor proceed onto the stage. At this point, the advisor and the provost dean will ceremoniously place the hood on the student. The student and advisor will then proceed to the farthest end of the stage to receive congratulations from Chancellor Folt. If the student's advisor is not present, Provost Dean and Royster Professor Marcia Collins will present the hood to the student. I want to call your attention to those students who are wearing gold cords. These students are members of the Royster Society of Fellows, the graduate school's most prestigious graduate fellowship program. There is a professional photographer at the foot of the stage who will be making photos of each of the students. Alyssa Anping Swen. Toxicology being hooded by Carmen Williams. James Paul Shellhammer, Pharmacology, being hooded by Henrik Dolman. Susanna Fenton Isgett, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Barbara Fredrickson. Brett Charles Major, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Barbara Fredrickson. Laura Elizabeth Kurtz, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Sarah Aljo. Jenna Leigh Clark, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Sarah Aljo. Kristen Mary Mulligan, English and Comparative Literature, being hooded by Pamela Cooper. James Mansell Davison, Cell Biology and Physiology, being hooded by John F. Rawls. Terrell Paul Taylor, Computer Science, being hooded by John McHugh. Leah Bishop Townsend, Neuroscience, being hooded by Michael Goy. Dana Walsh, Toxicology, being hooded by David Diaz Sanchez. George H. Allen, Geological Sciences, being hooded by Tamlin M. Pavelski. Sunjan J. Park, Business Administration, being hooded by Ricardo Colosito. Humberto Parada, Epidemiology, being hooded by Marilee Gammon. Nan Lee, Epidemiology, being hooded by Marilee Gammon. Gregory Scott Wose, Chemistry, being hooded by the Provost and Marcia Collins. Doreen Tieroff, English and Comparative Literature, being hooded by Beverly Taylor. Jennifer M. Park, English and Comparative Literature, being hooded by Mary Floyd Wilson. Elijah Jordan Gaddis, American Studies, being hooded by Bernard L. Herman. Fatima Manzoor, Microbiology and Immunology, being hooded by William Goldman. Kristen Bruges, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Gustavo Angeles. Caroline Harkins McCarty, Occupational Science, being hooded by Brian A. Boyd. Chetya Sethi, Occupational Science, being hooded by Brian Boyd. Adrian Miao, Occupational Science, being hooded by Ruth Humphrey. Kalila Robinson Johnson, Occupational Science, being hooded by Nancy Bagatelle. Brooks Fuller, Mass Communication, being hooded by Kathy Packer. Donato Fahunsu, English and Comparative Literature, being hooded by Inger Brody and Todd Ochoa. Mako Arashiro, Environmental Sciences and Engineering, being hooded by Jason Surratt. Jordan Louise Mackenzie, Philosophy, being hooded by Thomas E. Hill, Jr. Gina Bombola, Musicology, being hooded by Annegret Fauser. Molly Leanna Barnes, Musicology, being hooded by Annegret Fauser. William L. Robin, Musicology, being hooded by Mark Katz. David Vanderham, Musicology, being hooded by Mark Katz. Megan Kelly Egan, Musicology, being hooded by Anne McNeil. Audra Eileen Koash, Education, being hooded by Gregory Sizek. Lindsay Marissa Brainerd, Philosophy, being hooded by Mark Lang. Yunjia Xing, Material Science, being hooded by Alfred Kleinhans. Yuan Chung, Physics, being hooded by Alfred Kleinhans. Orrin Maxwell Abels, English and Comparative Literature, being hooded by Jordan Jack. Peter Christopher Lincoln, Computer Science, being hooded by Henry Fuchs. Cheryl Varghese, Education, being hooded by Lynn Fernan-Vikens. Constance L. Wakeford, Education, being hooded by Harriet Abel and Elizabeth Craig. Samuel Reese Dennis, Philosophy, being hooded by Susan Wolfe. Nelson Brunsting, Education, being hooded by Jill Ham. James Matthew Holt, Computer Science, being hooded by Leonard McMillan. Shmisha Agarwal Kaysen, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Sean Curtis. Emily Sue Bailey, Environmental Sciences and Engineering, being hooded by Mark Sobsey. Daniel B. Coleman Chavez, Communication Studies, being hooded by Della Pollock. Ali Na, Communication Studies, being hooded by Della Pollock. Clyde Hosea Ray IV, Political Science, being hooded by Kevin McGuire. John L. Lovett, Political Science, being hooded by James Stimson. Bryce Douglas A. Cree, Political Science, being hooded by James Stimson. Lindsay Reed, Political Science, being hooded by Mark Crescenzi. Trandon Allen Bender, Chemistry, being hooded by Michael Gagne. Stephanie Tara Lane, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Kathleen Gates. Teague Ryan Henry, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Kathleen Gates. Channon Brittany Tolson, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, being hooded by Elaine Laterak. Shannon Wong Lerner, Communication Studies, being hooded by Christian Lundberg. Nadia Catherine Dawisha, Communication Studies, being hooded by Patricia Parker. Elizabeth Marie Martin, Environmental Sciences and Engineering, being hooded by Rebecca Fry. Jessica Evelyn Lane, Epidemiology, being hooded by Rebecca Fry. Anel Ariana Yaramillo, Neuroscience, being hooded by Joyce Fisher. Sierra Janelle Stringfield, Neuroscience, being hooded by Joyce Fisher. Christopher Michael Mazzoni, Neuroscience, being hooded by Thomas Cash. Theresa Helen McKim, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Todd Thiel. Christina Cordero, Epidemiology, being hooded by Julie Daniels. Alan Christopher Kinlaw, Epidemiology, being hooded by Julie Daniels. Jennifer Lee Hargrove, Epidemiology, being hooded by Anna Waller. Joshua Benton Parshall, American Studies, being hooded by Marcy Cohen Ferris. Ilwu Liu, Computer Science, being hooded by Martin Steiner. Matthew Paul Dannenberg, Geography, being hooded by Kang-Yi Sung and Erica Wise. Christopher Rennie Hackenberg, Ecology, being hooded by Kang-Yi Song. Chi Zhang, Geography, being hooded by Kang-Yi Song. Jonathan Andrew Susser, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Neil Mulligan. Yuhong Yuan, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Alexander Kabanoff. Michael Collier, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Christy Ainsley. Tyler J. Goodwin, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Christy Ainsley. Onyi Okoli, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Christy Ainsley. Nancy K. Gillis, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Roy Hawk. Jason Roberts Lisgy, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Darren Thacker. Robert A. Overman, Pharmaceutical Sciences, being hooded by Stacy Dusetsina. Karen Marie Plevek-Hassa, Biochemistry and Biophysics, being hooded by Kevin Slepp. Carrie Erin Tippett's Material Science, being hooded by the Provost and Marcia Collins. Alan Freyer, City and Regional Planning, being hooded by Nicola Lowe. Mary Kathleen Donegan, City and Regional Planning, being hooded by Nicola Lowe. Naylin Siripong, Epidemiology, being hooded by Brian Pence. Manganizo Brave Shagamarana, Epidemiology, being hooded by Kimberly A. Powers. Pawnee Dong Nagurn, Epidemiology, being hooded by Stephen Meshnick. Elizabeth Ann Cromwell, Epidemiology, being hooded by Stephen Meshnick. Byron Casey Yeager, Biostatistics, being hooded by Lloyd J. Edwards. Melanie Sandy Fisher, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Donald Baucom. Rebecca Ashley Kabachnik, Nursing Practice, being hooded by Mary Lynn Piven. John Terrence Connors, Nursing Practice, being hooded by Jennifer DeOria. Kelly Might Wilson, Nursing Practice, being hooded by Jennifer DeOria. Mercedes Laurel Stanley, Nursing Practice, being hooded by Sheila Santacroce. Deidre Catrice Tucker, Toxicology, being hooded by Suzanne E. Fenton. Louis Lin Ong, Business Administration, being hooded by the Provost and Marcia Collins. Farnoosh Kodakarami, Business Administration, being hooded by J. Andrew Peterson. Joshua Gregory Gober, Chemistry, being hooded by Eric Brewstead. Ahmed Rufai Ibrahim, Chemistry, being hooded by Frank Liebfarth. Kent Ross Gordon, Biomedical Engineering, being hooded by Anne Marion Taylor. Heather Leigh Catherine Baugh, Political Science, being hooded by Thomas Oatley. Jacek Kowacz, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Jean Louis Garipe. Yin Lee, Nursing, being hooded by Cheryl B. Jones. Joshua Thomas Fuchs, physics, being hooded by J. Christopher Clemens. Matthew David Goodson, physics, being hooded by Fabian Heitz. Chao Wei Hung, biology, being hooded by Mara Duncan. Hung Ching Xia, cell biology and physiology, being hooded by Mara Duncan. Rhonda Faye Sinkfield, curriculum and instruction, being hooded by Janice Anderson. Megan Williams, curriculum and instruction, being hooded by Janice Anderson. Malena V. Rousseau, anthropology, being hooded by Rudy Colorado Mansfield. Anna Nikolaevna Kushkova, anthropology, being hooded by James Peacock. Paolo Bocci, anthropology, being hooded by Margaret Weiner. Justine Williams, anthropology, being hooded by Dorothy Holland. Elizabeth Sarah Berger, anthropology, being hooded by Dale Hutchinson. Joanne Frances Gruber, epidemiology, being hooded by Michelle Johnson Funk. Monica D'Arcy, epidemiology, being hooded by Michelle Johnson Funk. Aubrey Noel Comprator, education, being hooded by Lee Hall and Julie Justice. Brooke Davis Maxfield, education, being hooded by Eric Hauk. Raymond Barnes, Jr., educational leadership, being hooded by Dana Thompson Dorsey. Martinette Venable Horner, curriculum and instruction, being hooded by Kathleen Brown. Ronald Spencer Hawkins, educational leadership, being hooded by Kathleen Brown. Sheldon Augustus Lanier, educational leadership, being hooded by Kathleen Brown. Jillian Lou Shernu, Educational Leadership, being hooded by Kathleen Brown. Matthew William Doherty, Religious Studies, being hooded by Brandon Bain. Melissa Martell Sr., School Psychology, being hooded by Rune Simeonson. Felicia Fitzpatrick Fleming, School Psychology, being hooded by Rune Simeonson. Fikriya Etta Karakul, School Psychology, being hooded by Rune Simeonson. Ashley Kostner Keese, School Psychology, being hooded by Jean Boswell Mankowski. Sama Samar Hamid, Nursing, being hooded by Diane C. Berry. Yilin Wong, Computer Science, being hooded by Jan Michael Fram. Travis Wayne Proctor, Religious Studies, being hooded by Bart D. Ehrman. Jason Robert Combs, Religious Studies, being hooded by Bart D. Ehrman. Jason Andrew Staples, Religious Studies, being hooded by Bart D. Ehrman. Elizabeth Helen Anderson, Neuroscience, being hooded by Isenel Belger. Kyla Ann Lutz Collins, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, being hooded by Sean Gomez. Caitlin Suzanne Holt, Mathematics, being hooded by Greg Forrest. Timothy Stephen Wessler, Mathematics, being hooded by Greg Forrest. Nicholas A. Batista, Mathematics, being hooded by Boyce Griffith. Sarah Noemi Nam, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Diane Rowley. Kristen Zaney Black, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Diane Rowley. Cheryl Grant, Information and Library Science, being hooded by Barbara Wildemuth. Xiaowan Li, Epidemiology, being hooded by M. Allen Brookhart. Marissa Joanna Siemens, Epidemiology, being hooded by M. Alan Brookhart. Monica Bush, Epidemiology, being hooded by M. Alan Brookhart. Nelson Dwayne Pace, Epidemiology, being hooded by Anna Maria Sega-Ritz. Ricky L. Camplain, Epidemiology, being hooded by Geraldo Heiss. Adoranki Aramide Akankubi, Epidemiology, being hooded by Geraldo Heiss. Caitlin Marie Holliday, Epidemiology, being hooded by Kelly Evanson. Jordan Emily Cates, Epidemiology, being hooded by Daniel Westrich. Daniel John Schindler, Classics, being hooded by Jennifer Gates Foster. Garima Bahala, Public Policy, being hooded by Suhanshu Honda. Jesse Michael Hind, Public Policy, being hooded by Christine Durance. Youngmin Choi, Public Policy, being hooded by Marianne P. Feldman. Emily Butler, Biostatistics, being hooded by Michael Kosarak. Jonathan Charles Hibbard, Biostatistics, being hooded by Michael Kosarak. June Een Kim, Biostatistics, being hooded by Michael Kosarak. Si Ying Lee, Biostatistics, being hooded by Michael Kosarak. Catherine Rose Tech, Biomedical Engineering, being hooded by Jeffrey McDonald. Nicole Marie Baker, Pharmacology, being hooded by Channing Durr and Adrian Cox. Kathleen Michelle Mulvaney, Cell Biology and Physiology, being hooded by Ben Major. Christopher Stephen Givens, Cell Biology and Physiology, being hooded by Ben Major. Benford Lachelle Williams II, Biochemistry and Biophysics, being hooded by Nicolay Gokolian. Mahmoud Shobar, Biochemistry and Biophysics, being hooded by Nikolai Dokolyan. Reed Benjamin Jacob, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, being hooded by Nikolai Dokolyan. Ozgun Erdogan, Biochemistry and Biophysics, being hooded by Jian Chen. Beverly Lynn Sheeman, Education, being hooded by Madeline Goumet. Melissa C. Kay, Nutrition, being hooded by Margaret Bentley. Wenzi Zhang, Nutrition, being hooded by Elizabeth Meyer Davis. Larissa Elise Calancy, Nutrition, being hooded by Alice Ammerman. Emma Zumas, Nutrition, being hooded by Linda Adair. Anna Deryabina, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Sandra Green. Julie Osgood, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Sandra Green. Kenneth Doyle Coburn, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Sandra Green. Tyon Dante Hinson, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Ashley Skinner. Rochelle Marie Chiang, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Ashley Skinner. Mary Whitney Fry, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Ashley Skinner. Elizabeth Kahn Goodman, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Pam Silberman. Rachel B. Dolan, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Pam Silberman. Laura Pinheiro, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Bryce Reed. Theresa Marie Coles, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Bryce Reed. Todd Michael Jensen, Social Work, being hooded by Matthew Howard. Lynn Suzanne Collet Hinton, Epidemiology, being hooded by Melissa Troster. Lindsay Fernandez Rhodes, Epidemiology, being hooded by Carrie E. North. Anna E. Bauer, Epidemiology, being hooded by Stephanie Engel. Nathan William Swanson, Geography, being hooded by Banu Gonkensel. Stephen Larson, Geography, being hooded by Banu Gonkensel. Joshua Preston Miller, Political Science, being hooded by Stephen Leonard. Robert Payne Chapard, History, being hooded by W. Fitzhugh Brundage. Lika Shupek, History, being hooded by Richard Talbert. Joshua Paul Hevert, History, being hooded by Brett Whalen. John David Cho Powell, History, being hooded by Marcus Bull. Alexandra Locking, History, being hooded by Marcus Bull. Kashika Mohan Sahay, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Carolyn Halpern. Shoshana Kyra Goldberg, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Carolyn Halpern. Xinjiang Material Science, being hooded by James Cahoon. Samuel Sellers, Ecology, being hooded by Pamela Jager. Lauren Hill, Health Behavior, being hooded by Nisha Gottfredson. Marissa G. Hall, Health Behavior, being hooded by Noel T. Brewer. Allison Marie Schmidt, Health Behavior, being hooded by Shelley Golden. Leslie E. Kofi, Health Behavior, being hooded by Claire Barrington. Yinghao Pan, Biostatistics, being hooded by Haibo Cho. Marcia Denise Massey, Chemistry, being hooded by Cynthia K. Shower. Tommy Ender, Education, being hooded by George Noblet. Amy Senta, Education, being hooded by George Niblick. Edward Sukwon Sewell, Business Administration, being hooded by Wayne Landsman. Maria Nikiforovich, Business Administration, being hooded by Wayne Landsman. Janssen Donnie Shao, Business Administration, being hooded by Wayne Landsman. Trevor F. Erlacher, History, being hooded by Donald J. Raleigh. Daniel Giblin, History, being hooded by Donald J. Raleigh. Sarah McNamara, History, being hooded by Jacqueline Hall. Alexandria Nicole Rubel, History, being hooded by Karen Hageman. Stacy Ann Christian, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by John Paul. Lara Lorenzetti, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by John Paul. Chris Bernard Otieno Agala, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by John Paul. Kay Liz Algeria Flores, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Morris Weinberger. Lisa D. DiMartino, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Morris Weinberger. Jason N. Mose, Health Policy and Management, being hooded by Morris Weinberger. Miranda Eileen Welsh, Ecology, being hooded by Charles Mitchell. Robert William Heckman, Biology, being hooded by Charles Mitchell. Chaitalia Kapadia, Business Administration, being hooded by Shimul Mawani. Good, how are you? Hajar Yazdia, Sociology, being hooded by Charles Kurtzman. Brian Lewis Levy, Sociology, being hooded by Kathleen Mullen Harris. Kristen Marie Shorp, Sociology, being hooded by Yang Claire Yang and Kathleen Mullen Harris. Courtney Elizabeth Bowen, Sociology, being hooded by Carolyn Tyson and Yang Claire Yang. Bruce O'Brien Foster, Sociology, being hooded by Carolyn Tyson. Carmen Huerta Bapat, Sociology, being hooded by Laura Lopez Sanders. Brian Clark Hutchins, Education, being hooded by Judith Meese. Natalie Rachel Eve Cohen, Marine Sciences, being hooded by Adrian Marchetti. Emily Ann Elliott, Marine Sciences, being hooded by Brent McKee. Erica Lynn Young, Marine Sciences, being hooded by Brent McKee. Wei Zhu, Biostatistics, being hooded by Eric Blair. David Michael Kreiser, Chemistry, being hooded by Gary L. Glish. Christine M. Kennison, German Studies, being hooded by Jonathan Hess. Ruoyu Wu, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Amarjit Buddharaja. Unji Lee, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Amarjit Buddharaja. Jonathan Horowitz, Sociology, being hooded by Kenneth Andy Andrews. Jordan Travis Radke, Sociology, being hooded by Kenneth Andy Andrews. Erin Catherine Borchardt, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Aravind Asokan. Girid Harmur-Litteran, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Aravind Asokan. Garrett Edward Berry, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Aravind Asokan. Robert Sean McNeil, Pathology, being hooded by C. Ryan Miller. Tan Min Tran, Economics, being hooded by Donna Gillespie. Matthew Paul Forstrom, Economics, being hooded by Donna Gillespie. Ning Fu, Economics, being hooded by Donna Gillespie. Hanwei Liu, Economics, being hooded by Patrick Conway. Jeffrey A. Ackerman, Economics, being hooded by Brian McManus. Jonathan Wendell Sugg, Geography, being hooded by Charles E. Conrad II. Donqing Yu, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Sirhan Zia. Yu Chong, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Vidyahar Kulkarni. Chun Chun Yu, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by J.S. Marin and Kai Chang. Card. Haiwan An, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by J.S. Marin and Kai Chang. Kelly Nicole Bodwin, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Andrew Nobel and Kai Chong. John Joseph Palowich, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Andrew Nobel and Shankar Bamidi. Jimmy Jin, Statistics and Operations Research, being hooded by Shankar Bamidi and Andrew Noble. Nicole Ray Tackman, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Yanping Zhang. Lee Christopher Freeman, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Jeff Sikelski. Julie Corda Holsclaw, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Jeff Sikelski. Noelle Aaron Francis Romero, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Jeff Sikelski and Steve Mattson. Danielle Judith Roggenstad, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Jeff Sikelski and Dorothy Erie. Catherine Claire Fahey, Genetics and Molecular Biology, being hooded by Kimran Rathmel and Ian Davis. Andrew P. Morgan, Bioinformatics and Computational Biology, being hooded by Fernando Pardo Manuel de Viena. Alexander Ross Venning, Chemistry, being hooded by Eric Alexanian. Ellen Marie Chetwin, Maternal and Child Health, being hooded by Allison Stubbe. Jeremy Stewart Michael Greeter, Biology, being hooded by Tyson L. Hedrick. Susan Michelle Lyons, Biology, being hooded by Keith Sockman. Nancy Ann Quick, Speech and Hearing Sciences, being hooded by Melody Harrison and Karen Erickson. Alexandra Rebecca, Business Administration, being hooded by Richard A. Bettis. Catherine B. Ford, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Joseph Hopfinger. Melissa Ann Fraser, Human Movement Science, being hooded by Kevin M. Guskowitz. Barnett Samuel Frank, Human Movement Science, being hooded by Darren Padua. Robert Charles Lionel, Human Movement Science, being hooded by Jason Mahalik. Elizabeth Teal, Human Movement Science, being hooded by Jason Mahalik. Brittany Ann Harkey, Human Movement Science, being hooded by Brian Pietro Simone. Daniel B. Lee, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Enrique Niblick. Sean Christopher Tracy Jones, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Enrique Niblick. Mary Kathleen Higgins, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Anna Bordone Cohn. Jessica Marie Solis, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Andrea Husson. Sophia Chukas Bradley, Psychology and Neuroscience, being hooded by Mitchell J. Prinstein. Daria Bozzato, Romance Languages and Literatures, being hooded by Marisa Escobar. Aren't they fabulous? Welcome, graduates. Okay, please be seated. Now, I want to acknowledge that special bond that's formed between students and faculty at the graduate level. The relationship between a student and their faculty advisor is both professional and also it's very personal. A big part of our students' success, and I'm sure they'd agree, is due to their faculty mentors. The faculty members at Carolina take their roles as mentors very seriously, and it's this mentoring role that makes today's ceremony so special. Exceptional faculty mentors provide a supportive environment that brings forth the very best from their students. They encourage graduate students to establish their own record of scholarly activity. They achieve a successful record of graduate degree completion among the students they have advised. We, as a university, must encourage faculty mentors in their diligent and compassionate mentoring. To honor and support this exceptional level of faculty commitment, the Graduate School presents an annual Faculty Award for Excellence in Doctoral Mentoring. The number of nominations we receive from our doctoral students and the content of those nominations is an affirmation of our faculty's dedication to graduate students. Please join me in thanking all of our faculty mentors for all they do for graduate education on this campus. With this year's ceremony, I'm pleased to announce that we're presenting awards to 2 faculty mentors. The recipients of this year's Faculty Award for Excellence in Doctoral Mentoring are Dr. Ruth Humphrey and Dr. Enrique Niblick. Would Dr. Humphrey and Dr. Niblick please join me up here? And Dr. Niblick? As they make their way to the stage, I want to say just a few additional words about this award. We recognize that our senior level faculty have a greater number of mentoring experiences and students who have completed their degrees than their more junior colleagues. Yet at Carolina, we have extremely talented faculty who exhibit outstanding mentoring at very early stages of their career. With these 2 awards, we are honoring faculty who are seasoned as mentors and those who have successfully demonstrated expertise at an early stage. And we intend to continue this practice into the future. Ruth? Dr. Ruth Humphrey is a professor in the Department of Allied Health Sciences and director of the Division of Occupational Science and Occupational Therapy. She has served as either a dissertation advisor or committee member for 12 doctoral students at Carolina and continues to serve on the committees of numerous current students. Dr. Humphrey was a major force in the creation of the doctoral degree program and has touched every graduate in the program. She encourages students to pursue their passions and interests and helps them break their big ideas down into manageable pieces. Dr. Humphrey models lifelong learning and mentors with respect, kindness, and humility. In the words of the nomination letter, she has been the face welcoming every new student at orientation, has taught every student in introductory research courses and occupational science seminars, and has at one point served as an advisor to every student in the program. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Ruth Humphrey on receiving the 2017 Faculty Award for Excellence in Doctoral Mentoring. Dr. Enrique Niblick, an associate professor of psychology and neuroscience, and directs the African American Youth Wellness Laboratory. Dr. Niblick ensures that his graduate students are able to establish their own record of scholarly activity and performance through collaboration, publications, national presentations, and leadership. He has established a model of tiered peer-to-peer mentoring, providing his students valuable experience leading to the development of their own mentoring styles. Dr. Niblick has created an immensely supportive environment and mentors with a developmentally appropriate and family-oriented approach. He, and I quote, routinely emphasizes the importance of acknowledging our accomplishments and has instilled a habit of celebrating even the smallest of victories. Please join me in congratulating Dr. Enrique Niblick on receiving the 2017 Faculty Award for Excellence. Thank you, Dr. Humphrey and Dr. Niblick, for your outstanding commitment to your students. And now, a final charge from the graduate school before you go. Graduates, you've been recognized today for your successful completion of doctoral studies, a process that we all know takes years of commitment and self-discipline. I ask you take that commitment to excellence and go into your community, whether here in North Carolina or across the United States or across the oceans, and make your community a better place for its citizens. Lend your passion, your knowledge to your community and watch it grow and prosper. I want to mention that the university-wide commencement ceremony will occur tomorrow at 9 a.m. in Keenan Stadium, and you are all very welcome to attend that event.
This is why we have a mobile podium now. I love this. Congratulations, graduates, and welcome to the Academy. This is such a special day, and I'm going to say this crowd is really rocking it today. We've had lots of really great shout-outs. I heard a couple mommies, too, so that was very wonderful, especially as we go into Mother's Day tomorrow. But it's been wonderful to be with all of you today and to be celebrating what is really such an important moment, not only for our graduates, but for every single faculty member here. It is a lifelong relationship that we're celebrating. Abraham Lincoln once said, "Your own resolution to succeed is more important than anything else." Resolution, or to be resolute, is a very powerful word. It's a description of personal character. It can be defined as admirably purposeful, determined, unwavering. Well, I think your resolution, together with your capacity and your dreams, not only got you here today, but that is what will continue to take you wherever you decide to go tomorrow. And we are all looking forward to watching that journey. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Jeffrey Fuchs, the director of the university bands, and the wonderful student musicians who came to play for you today. I always like to thank the staff that prepared the Dean Dome for us for this ceremony. They put in lots of hours to make it so beautiful for us. And in a moment, again, I'd like to thank our talented singer, Shefali Jaluta. So now, yes. She's amazing. So I'd like everyone now to please stand for the singing of the Alma Mater. And at the conclusion, I'd like to ask you to wait for the platform party to exit the stage, and then the graduates will proceed up through the seating area to celebrate and hug all those people in the audience. So thank you, everybody.